Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Pies Presser on this Wednesday evening. More rival clubs enter the race for Jack Silvani. We'll get into that. Will Bobby Hill play? We can dive into that conversation. And a word from Luke Hodge to our captain, Darcy Moore. It's time to talk all things black and white. Good evening. I hope we are all super well. How are we feeling? It is now Wednesday, the countdown. It feels like now it's real. Now we're here. Saturday night, massive clash. Woo! Chat, I'm feeling the energy. I'm feeling it. But we'll get there. We'll have some time to talk. You thought I wasn't going to go live tonight, huh? You thought I wasn't going to go live, but I told you we're trying to do 7 days a week here. We're not messing about. So for the 24/7s, the full-timers here, respect you, appreciate you, and we're here together, and the grind is well and truly real. We will grind so long as the club continues to do so and brings their part to the table. Let's talk about our favorite show, Ungettable. Dubbed Ungettable is the show that we like to refer to at times. We have a paraphrase from our mate Riley Beveridge. Jack Silvani has now met with the Western Bulldogs, which is the third rival club he has met with. He still thinks Collingwood has its noses in front, but doesn't think it's as significant as it was maybe a week or two ago. Now, what does that mean? Do we fear Western Bulldogs in this race? Do we fear Essendon, who are also a part of this conversation? Let's map it out, okay? So, the Western Bulldogs. Well, let's look at their list structure, okay? They're destined to remain in the top half of this table for the foreseeable future. They have Aaron Norton. They have the Unicorn, Darcy. They have the Bont. They have Libba. Trelaw's thereabouts when he's available. Ed Richards. Ugle Hagen is in the stands at the moment. If he comes, goodness gracious. So, look, as far as finding a great team to be a part of with superstar players, Western Bulldogs, admittedly, they're a bit of a destination club when it comes to playing and being amongst superstardom, right? So I see that. And I see the hole as well. It's the hole in their list is definitely their backline. Their backline consists of Rory Lobb, at times Buku Kamas. Liam Jones can't get a game, so they're very slim there. And you know what? It's probably going to be the thing that holds them back. If Collingwood's backline this season, at its worst, is one of the worst teams right now, backline defensively, then you wouldn't put the Doggies too far away from that and dubbing them one of the worst good teams with a bad backline. Good team with a bad backline. That makes sense, doesn't it? So there's that. Are we going to get into the collective bargaining agreement and talk about the salary cap and everything else that comes with that? Probably not. We are none the wiser when it comes to that, so we're not going to speculate about whether the Doggies have room there. The question is from Silvani, okay, what works against the Pies in this whole conversation? I feel like the thing that works against us is the fact that it's the Collingwood Football Club and Carlton is entrenched in the Carlton Blues as well as his dad, and we know it's a fractured relationship, but with our offer standing at $650 for 4 years, what if Silvani, or what if the Bulldogs knock us off our feet and say, you know what, we'll give you $750, $800. Is that going to be a limiting factor for the Pies? Is that what Silvani wants? Does he want more money at a club where his name won't be left in the mud when people think about the Silvani name attached to the Carlton Football Club? That's a real consideration. That is certainly a real consideration that I feel like Jack Silvani would those are one of those variables he'd be thinking about within all these negotiations. What makes Beveridge think that we're not as close to Silvani as we were a couple of weeks ago? No idea. Do the results? Does the outcome of this season change where Silvani goes? Is there that? Is he just sitting back on his heels and go, I'll see. Let's see how Collingwood finish out. Do they come storming home, or do they fall flat on their ass? Or does he see the doggies who they burst into the final scene and they're valiant and they get close, but they weren't quite there? He goes, yep, I'm the guy. I'm there to fill that gap. Because right now, look, the Pies right now, we're like a person who wakes up in the morning, gets ready for work, brushes his teeth, puts on his shirt, puts on his business socks, chucks on the loafers, gets to the train station and realizes he's left his pants at home and he's open at the back. He's left open at the back. It's kind of like Collingwood at the moment. We're just left open at the back. We're vulnerable from behind. So, look, the gap is there to be filled by Jack Silvani. I think we certainly should be a little bit more concerned about a Western Bulldogs rather than an Essendon. Essendon are in turmoil, injuries, lack of culture, if you want to call it that. Maybe that's a bit harsh, but I guess you know where I'm coming from there. Perpetual failures since the early 2000s. I'm not so concerned about going to an Essendon, for example. So I would look, as a fan, when I rationalize these possibilities, I'm saying it's Western Bulldogs or Collingwood. And I genuinely think it might come down to how the rest of the season pans out for both clubs. And the final factor is, does he want to go to, yes, Collingwood, he won't be forgiven. Carlton will not forgive, some of the fans, the board or whoever it may be, will not forgive Jack Silvani for going to Collingwood, considering his surname. But does it come down to potentially, if I go to the Doggies, I'm going to be playing in front of 30,000 fans for the rest of my career. But if I go to Collingwood, I could potentially play in front of 80,000 average in the home and away season. So those are the things I think of. And yes, there's friends of Silvani at Collingwood. Dan Houston, does he have a connection with Nick Dacos? There was someone else at the club that Silvani is relatively close with, no? Does he want to be around? Players who have done it for 20 years, side bottoms, the Pendleburys, and learn from them, get his body right? ACL, groin, like is there an enticement for Jack Silvani to be like, okay, maybe I go to this club. Jamie Elliott couldn't get his body right, got it right. I want to be around these guys who have found ways to not only extend their career, but peak in the twilight of their career. So I feel like that has to be a selling point. The culture, how did his interaction go with Fly McRae? Did he like that? How does that weigh up against his experience with the coaches that he's been a part of at Carlton? That's what I'm thinking. This guy, Silvani, is someone we're obviously keen. We obviously want him. The guy's had an exceptional year. Obviously, the injuries haven't been great or kind to him this year. But if we get Jack Silvani, that key defender that we're... So you know what I like about Silvani, guys? He reminds me of a player when things aren't going right, when Collingwood aren't owning the territory, when Carlton have been obliterated in their back half. Silvani just seems to make good decisions. He's a strong one-on-one player. He's learnt off the likes of Wiedering, guys. And Wiedering is a wrecking ball. He is a one-man unit in that back line. So he does have resemblance, or at least the perseverance that Wiedering lives with and displays in games where it's just not going our way. And I feel like, guys, let's be real, yeah? Let's be real. When we are under the pump, Billy Frampton's not going to be our saviour. Billy Frampton is a better defender when we're set up in our front half. When you get games like Hawthorn, when you get games like we saw Frampton was a part of last year at times, when he first came into the side, he was good. But when shit goes uphill or downhill and Frampton has to fight an uphill battle, it's no good. He's no good. He is no good. That is Billy Frampton, the bad side. The good side is when we're going well. Same goes for our skipper, and we'll talk about our skip in a second because Luke Hodges had a few words of advice, if you want to call them, and I want to bring it up because it really look. Do we love journo opinions? No, but this guy's an expert of the game, and I'd like to think he's not as desperate for a headline as a Kane Corns or a David as a Kingy at times. Okay, so there's still that. I feel like there's an element of respect and acknowledgement when you listen to Luke Hodge. That's how I feel about Luke Hodge at the moment. So it was interesting to see, and we'll get to it in a moment, that Hodgie was seeing things that we're seeing things. And some of you in the chat, guys, right, will defend Darcy Moore to the hills, right? I respect it, but don't be delusional, guys. Don't be delusional. It's okay to criticize. It's okay to criticize. It's okay to be real. When we're under the pump, Darcy Moore, you can't rely on Darcy Moore and Billy Frampton. And if we can get away with winning a flag in this state, it will be because we got Jeremy Howe back in time. It will be because we defend well as a team. But you cannot rely on these guys to be your last wall of defense, literally and metaphorically, right? So, the Frampton disrespect is wild. About what I said, AA? I feel like I made a fair point. Frampton, when we're not playing well, no good. Same as Darcy Moore. When we're playing good, they'll both be good. They'll jump on the bandwagon, but they won't lead from the front. Not when things aren't going well. When things weren't going well for Carlton earlier this year, Jack Silvani stood up. In another world, guys, if we weren't this late into the year, if we weren't so deprived of key defender depth, Darcy Moore wouldn't be in my backline, guys. Darcy Moore would be in my forward line. But we can't do that now. You can't. He's the skipper. We have no defenders right now. Will we live to rue not picking up another key defender in free agency or the mid-season draft? Maybe. Maybe, guys. Maybe. We go with Noah Howes. We go with Rowan Steele, who are both look to be players that can be a part of the future. But in a time where we are here to win in 2025, it just felt like maybe we should have drafted a key defender or a free agent defender, but we're not there. So we might rue, but we can't dwell on it, can we? We simply can't. We can't. Anyhow, let's have a look at this from Luke Hodge. Where is it? Hodge's message. All right. Hodgie says on SEN, I want to see a stable defense. I want to see a Darcy Moore when there's a chance to tap or grab the ball in your defensive 50 as a leader. In that first contest you go to, you stand up. What I love about that sentence on its own, he could have stopped there. If we want players to lift in form and confidence, their first decision in the game their first couple decisions will almost certainly dictate how the rest of their game will go. When the moments matter early, when you're looking for ascendancy, when you're looking for something to ride the back of, you need your best players, your leaders, making smart, brave decisions. That's what we need from Darcy Moore Saturday night. Lead from the front, right? You don't play this fancy, knock the ball on, lively football. You do that centre of forward. As a defender, as a captain, and as a stable defence, you need to be there to back up your midfielders if the ball comes through. And that's the thing. If our midfield is going to let us down at times, okay, we're not a centre clearance team. We're not a stoppage clearance team. So while they haven't been great in their own world in the last 6 weeks, the midfield, is it too hard for the midfield to ask the defence to stand up at times when we're under the pump? Is that too hard to ask for? When the system is failing, can someone bail us out? Can the midfield ask Darcy Moore, can you bail us out, brother? Help a man's out. We just got killed. Rowley's eating grass. He's like the what's that guy? The guy who eats all the spinach with the pipe. Is it Popeye? When Popeye is doing his bloody thing in Gold Coast. When Lockie Neal is having his own. When Dylan Moore and Jai Newcomb are running amok. Can Darcy Moore present towering in the back line, intercepting, rebounding, giving us a chance to go back the other way? Don't play Larry football. Defenders aren't supposed to play Larry football unless it's on your terms and you're trying to start the game up. Early in the game, be stable, shut the game down, don't get that crowd involved. Extremely pertinent for the game against Adelaide, being at Adelaide Oval, and let your mids do what they can do. That's what I want to see from Collingwood from this weekend. It doesn't mean they have to win the game. You want to see a stable defense, get back a few guys over the next couple of weeks, and they can hit the finals running. And here's the thing. I promise you, it's not going to be game over if we lose against the Crows. We can still make top 4. We can still make a run in the finals outside of the top 4. But what is a non-negotiable on Saturday night is turn the corner, get the fuck away from what we have had to endure over the last 6 weeks. Turn the page. Darcy Moore needs to be one of our best players on the weekend. Nick Dacos, play him off the halfback if that means we get better ball movement off the halfback line. Dan Houston, it's got to turn at some point. We're persisting with the selection of Dan Houston. What can you do for us in Adelaide where you were inevitably rubbed out for the final series last year? What are you going to do to vindicate yourself? How are you going to get vengeance on a side? Yes, it was self-inflicted, but ultimately you can narrow it down to Adelaide ended Dan Houston's final series. I understand he knocked out Isaac Rankin, obviously, but let's put the narrative in that way. I'm happy Luke Hodge said that. I resonated with what he was saying, and I take a lot of value out of that because it's someone who is not an Adelaide fan, certainly not a Collingwood fan. He's got his objective lens on, and he goes, this is what I would need to... A champion of the game, a true leader of the game, a premiership champion. He calls it how he sees it. Bobby Hill, brother, hey, come on. He trained yesterday. He posted a story on Instagram today, early in the morning, at like 5 a.m. Miss you, boys. Daddy's going to miss you. So, if you needed any confirmation around the fact that Bobby Hill and the family is separated and the kids aren't with Bobby at the moment, there it is. Now, Bobby, show us your balls. Show us that you're going to do it for the fan base. Do it for yourself. All right, let's get a bit philosophical here, guys. Let's bring in values in life, right? Pressure makes diamonds, okay? Let's start with a few cliches. Pressure makes diamonds, yeah? As a person, the last thing I'd hate to see from Bobby this year is he gives up on himself. He gives up on the situation. Yeah, it's not ideal. Your kids have been taken away from you. Did he make a mistake? Probably, maybe. We're all human. We're not immune to mistakes. As an AFL footballer who has the world at his feet, all the girls in the world, potentially, in Australia, would love a moment with Bobby Hill. And unfortunately, he's probably succumbed to the temptation, the vice, lust. It happens. Not the first, not the last. But a real build and test of character ensues for Bobby Hill. Can he overcome this adversity, this heat? Can he put his wrongdoings to the side and return to his obligations, to his workplace? Can he kick a couple goals on Saturday? Shut the crowd up. Let them know who Bobby Hill is. Let them know who Bobby Norm is. And then we can look back, flag or not. Bobby Hill played through the final 6 to 8 weeks of the season. He put his adversities to the side when he goes to training, when he rocks up on game day, his mind is set on win. His mind is set on devotion, commitment. That's where he needs to be. And I'll look back at Bobby Hill. If he does that, if he shows up, if he pushes through this difficult time in his life and he's able to turn the blinkers on when he's out there, I was going to say all will be forgiven. There's nothing to forgive for Bobby. He only needs to prove this to himself. I'm talking about Bobby like I'm his brother right now. What would I say to Bobby as a brother? Show up, bro. Show up. Just show up. Do your best. Time heals everything. I can't speak on the situation, whether you get your kids back or what happens next year. If he goes to Western Australia next year, so be it. But just stick the path. Live in your obligations for the remainder of 2025 and revisit everything else once it's all said and done in 2025. Insinuating that he did something wrong in all of this is wrong. Saying that he is cheated too far, says Nasty Man. I'm not insinuating anything, right? Okay? That was one of the rumors. Fair enough. Did he cheat? Did he not? Irregardless, okay? The point is, let me rephrase. The point of this is he is not with his kids right now. What can he do to become a stronger man right now in this point of time in his life? Regardless, Stu says his missus wanted to go back to WA because her sister moved back. If that's the reason, okay, fine. But just do this now. Be here now. Do what you got to do. You'll be stronger for it. If you fold and take more personal leave for these reasons because your kids aren't here, he's letting himself down. He's letting himself down. I want Bobby to be able to look back at all of this in 6 months' time and go, I'm glad I went through this. I'm glad I rocked up. I'm better for it. Benny Zero donates 5 gifted memberships. I appreciate you, brother. Welcome, Will in Australia. Mercedes, welcome. Kelly Marie, welcome. Appreciate you. Frederick, welcome. And Mr. Flying Pies, welcome. I appreciate you, Benny. My man. My man. No excuses. Footy Classified says he wants to play and not be sub, but Eddie said club insiders say 1 more week. I will be incredibly disappointed if Bobby doesn't play this week. If he trained yesterday, means he should train tomorrow, means he should be in the captain's run, means he should play for the ones. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. 1 more week for what? Conditioning? Fuck that off, man. Kick it to the curb. You'll get through. You need to take a risk. If you're not fully fit, take the risk. We need a win. We need to turn this corner. No time for this. Well, we'll give him another week. Fly needs to step into the gym and go, Wadey, hey, love your work this year, but let me handle this one. Bobby, brother, come on. You're playing. Oh, you're 80%? That's right. We'll take you at 80%. Don't care. You're not fit to perform? Well, you're fit to play today, brother. You're fit to play. Must play. Time to perform. Time to perform. Even if you're not fit to perform, you're fit to play. I saw enough against Brisbane. I saw enough in the VFL. I think he's all right. We don't have another week. Even if we lose, I want to see Bobby Hill a part of that team, turning the corner, playing better footy, playing premiership-like footy, taking it up against the front runners in the Crows right now. Let me see it. Let me see it now. I hope Fly sees it. I hope Fly takes the steering wheel and says, I'm the captain. I'm the captain of this club. I'm going to live and die by this decision. Bobby plays. Mate, when you're on that footy field, nothing else matters. Anyone who's played sport at any level, when you enter that field, when you cross that white line, nothing else matters. For 120 minutes, there's not a single care in the world other than getting that fucking pigskin of a ball, picking it up and banging it through the two big sticks. That's what it's about. Even when you're training, for the most part, you're locked in. That's all you think about. Bo on the other hand, that sounds like, it seems like that's going to be more of a risk. But again, same conversation, isn't it, with Bo? Just have to play him. Every other club around us, they're taking risks. Fremantle taking risks with Hayden Young. Nathan Fife, Hawthorn took a risk with Will Day. Whether they worked out or not, the point of it, the principle is you have to risk. You got to risk it to get the biscuit. Simple as. There is no tomorrow. What Bobby wants to do next year will be understandable. So long as he fronts up for the next 6 weeks. That's all I ask. That's all we ask as a fan base. We rock up every week with optimism, newfound optimism. Doesn't matter how bad our performance was in the preceding weeks, the preceding months. We're here again. We had a sook on Thursday night. Guess what? We're 6 days removed, and look at us in the chat. We're up and about, aren't we? We're ready to go. Come on, Bobby. Some reason the club has low appetite for risk, unlike others. We're too risk averse. We are. At the moment, right now, too risk averse. But that can change. Tomorrow, I want to hear Fly say Bobby's in. I want to hear Fly say Bo got through training, he's in. I want to hear Fly say we managed De Goey throughout the week, he's going to play. We're all chips in now. There's no more messing about. We can't get cute with the management. It hasn't worked out, guys. It hasn't worked out yet. Hasn't worked out. Yeah? The management of the older players, it hasn't worked out yet, has it? Aren't we supposed to look fresh and rejuvenated? Not yet. But maybe does that all change on Saturday? Schultze, Bobby, and Bo will get us over the line. I can feel it in my... Where do you feel it, brother? Yeah, look, they are an imperative piece to the system that operates out there. Their forward half pressure is much needed to alleviate the pressure on the back line. No Jeremy Howe there, guys. So when we need those bailouts that Jeremy Howe so often comes up with, it's not going to be there. Phil Thorpe's going to get some. Walker's going to get some. Fogarty's going to get some. But how can we limit that? None of the management is supposed to show results until September. Think Pendle's last quarter of the grand final. I see that, Benny, but we've got to get there first. We've got to get to the grand final before we see that, right? It doesn't help if we don't make it. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. The management is made to be completely redundant if it gets in the way of our quest to steamrolling into the final series. Is Tex back? Tex was managed against their Wiggles. He will play. He will play. He was just being rested. Rory Laird won't play. But as far as I'm concerned, Rory Laird has been reduced to a role player at the Crows because there's other players like Jordan Dawson, like Saligo, like Rankin, who lead from the front. And then obviously they're trident in the forward line. Claudia, if the club is serious about finals, then Bobby must play. No ifs, ands, or buts. Tex Walker's kid is harder than our team. Time is now. Time is now. Yeah, you know what? Look, I'll say this, guys, just so we're very clear where I stand politically when it comes. We are, in my eyes, the AFL as a whole is pretty woke. Are there players and coaches that live in this world that aren't woke? Sure, but you do have to conform to the norm. Otherwise, if you don't follow the trends, you're left without a job. Which is why I'm grateful to have this opportunity to run my own YouTube platform and have the community here, because we're not bound by the status quo that politics bring into this world. Yeah, I think Collingwood, largely a pretty woke club, in my opinion. Whether you like it or not, that's facts. Where you stand on the political curve will determine whether you think we're woke or not. I think we're incredibly woke. But that's where we're at in this right now. I do think we're getting about a bit of a... We're recalibrating. We are recalibrating on the curve. I think we're getting on the curve. I think we're getting closer to a balance. We don't need to be far right. But we're kind of all the way over here, out of the screen, far, far left. Can we get some restructuring? Just get to be the middle. It's okay. You don't have to like it. You don't have to like the opinion. That's what we're here for. If you don't like it, go watch someone else. Simple. Go watch someone else. Like, there's many channels out there. Yeah. If something else floats your boat, go find them. But this is how we are here. But everyone's welcome here as well. Very rarely will you see me ban someone in a chat. Very rarely will you see me say to someone, oh, you can't say that. Unless if it's outrageous, if it's egregious, I'll pull you up. But it's free. Yeah, free speech. Free speech is here. Free speech is here. KG, if we lose on Saturday, I'm worried about Melbourne will come out fire. Hey, Melbourne are not going to be a walkover, my friends. We're not going to get the Melbourne of 2024 round 23. It's not going to be a training drill. They're setting up their season for next year. They had a mighty crack against the Doggies. Let's worry about Adelaide, but I'm telling you, Melbourne are going to present their own problems. Peter G. Silvani has already told Carlton earlier this week that he is leaving and taking the Collingwood offer. Take it to the bank. D's want revenge for 2017 when we knocked him out in the last round, or 2016. Scorps, welcome. I can't say I remember that, Benny. If you can refresh this mind of mine. Look, I'm a big fan of an old-fashioned spray. Look, I grew up playing soccer and being coached by Serbians and the Croatians, and mate, they were next level. I'm telling you, the sprays you would cop, it would be to the detriment of your own performance and well-being. But I do feel like there's a world where if you can just get the balance right between copying an almighty spray, you know who's not woke? Let's talk about people who probably aren't woke politically. I feel like a Ross Lyon screams that out to me. I feel like a Dimmer. I love Dimmer. His press conferences, he's so real. He's so raw. Different clubs understand. Clubs we don't like that these coaches represent at times, but what they stand for and how they present to the media, I love the way they go about it, whether you guys like it or not. Fly's good in his own sense. I mean, he's gotten us into the premiership period. Won a flag, prelim 22, fell short in making finals in 24. We're here in 25 again. Curious to know what you feel like woke culture is doing to Collingwood. To put it bluntly, I feel like we're too soft. And this transcends beyond club culture and the footy world. This is everyday life, guys. So you expand, open up the horizons and look around you. If you are a cognizant person and has an open mind, you can and you look at what's going on around you, you'll see what's woke and what's not. I feel like it's just the way people carry themselves. I mean, how deep do you want to go into this? Yeah, Chris Scott, again, another coach that I can get around. There's just not enough brutality, not enough honesty. And honesty can be translated in many ways. Yeah, there can be raw truths, and there can be, we're just going to put this piece of criticism on a pillow, and it's going to be very gentle. And then there's obviously, there's a whole nother world of wokeness if you want to talk COVID and everything else. I'm not going to go too far into it. I'm not going to get too far into it. Kingsley, love that. Alex Scott, thanks for the 10, brother. As Manny would say, lift. We need to lift. Love that, Scotty. Pretty sure I bumped into Scotty a couple times in the public. Correct me if I'm wrong, Alex. I think I know who. I remember who you are. We've bumped into each other a couple times. It's tearing the joint apart. It's not the club I identify with. I worked for the club in the early 2000s, and it's not the same place. Yeah, it is. Honest, like, guys, we will rock up every day for this club, but there is an element of conflict that boils inside me when I think about my values, where I stand with everything. I do feel like Collingwood's values when it comes to where they stand politically and how they go about things, I don't align with it, but I show up because I love the history of the club. I love the players that represented the club that no longer play. I love a lot of the players that represent the club now. I love footy. So I continue to rock up. Whether you like, I think the whole, I don't want to get into too much. I don't want to get into it too much. Maybe if we bump into each other, guys, in the real world, we can talk about the political side of things when it comes to the AFL and Collingwood at length. But I'm probably not going to do that here. I've done it a little bit, but if you want the full, there needs to be a conversation. There needs to be, I say something, you ask me this, and then I respond, and then we can go from there. But this is probably not the forum that I want to, not right now. We have to stick together right now. We need to stay strong. The motive, should be focusing on the Crows. Yep, back to footy. That's it. Like maybe to a lesser extent with the wokeness is you don't always have to be obedient to your superiors in different departments. For example, Fly doesn't have to submit to what Jared Wade recommends. They're recommendations. They're not the be all end all. You will never know well and truly whether if we put Bobby Hill on the field with a lesser conditioned Bobby Hill on the field against the Crows, we don't know if he gets through or not. We don't know if Bo gets through or not. I didn't think Geordie would get through Brisbane going into a 5-day break against Hawthorn. I didn't feel that. But it seems like, at the very least, he got through those 2 games. So he's overcome that. So that's probably a piece to the wokeness of it all. Just don't submit. Stand up. Be strong. Be brave. Be bold. No, Wadey, we're not going to rest Bobby. We're not going to rest Bo. We're going to play them. We need them now. The war is happening out there in Adelaide. Are you going to leave some of your soldiers at home because they're 80%, while the rest are fighting tooth and nail to find some form going into the final series? That's what I'm talking about. Don't be a conformist. Never. Thanks, Stephen. Never. All hands on deck. Teresa, you're late. That's okay. You might have to go back to the start because I've effectively ranted for the last 40 minutes. A passion, a fervent, just a real passion. A plead to the club, to the players. Nah, I didn't say they're arresting Bobby and Bo. I'm just saying, like, if that was a consideration, Fly needs to disobey Wadey. Fly sometimes seems to be a bit scared to confront things he knows is wrong, but doesn't know how to say no. If Wade says Bobby needs to rest, Fly needs to disobey. Charlie D would have dominated the battle of Versailles. Bobby is keen to play, so you play him. No more waiting. Never conform. Yeah, let me know how you go, Teresa, in a gym, huh? Let me know. This will G you up. Use this as a form of pre-workout. You'll have the best workout of your life. It's a Pies Footy guarantee. Bobby must play. Simply no excuses. He owes it to the members who paid their hard-earned money. Some people don't like that, leveraging that. Like, oh, you pay their wages and all that sort of stuff. But like there comes a point in time where you draw a line in the sand and you go, come on, Bobby. Come on, mate. For the club. For the fan base who never waver. I can understand Fly being coy at times, particularly in the press conference. But there are times where you just want to hear, like, you listen. The Rogan experience. Love Rogan. Love Rogan. I'll confess. Love Joe. Love Joe Rogan. There are times like even with Carlton, like sometimes when they were on their knees, Carlton early initiate, there were maybe times where Vossi could have stood up in front of the media and just gave the club, the fan base, something real. Don't sugarcoat something sometimes. Understand you have to be tactical with what you present to the media at times, but there are times where it's like, just give us the no bullshit explanation, Vossi. Fly. Be real with us at times where you don't need to play 4D chess. Lock Wade away for the next 2 weeks. Peter. I think Peter's on one, isn't he? Cooper? What's Peter saying? You stick to YouTube and don't worry about Wade and Flies planning for Bobby. Get out of here, Peter. Peter comes into the chat and never has anything nice to say, which is okay because this is an open forum. I could not give the nearest fuck that's down the road. I honestly couldn't. But it boggles my mind. You click the video. What's the allure? What's the allure? Benny, thanks for 2 out. Jared Wade, 2 weeks managed. Adegamisu. See you later. Send him to Arizona for a conditioning top up while we fry our own fish here. Yeah, we'll give him the Dane Swan treatment. Go, Wadey, come on, mate. Just lean up a bit. Go do your thing in Arizona, brother. Go do your thing. Call out the players. They got comfortable with the 14 wins and just dropped off. Guys, you see Rod Ali, the guy we looked at in the mid-season draft, who's played a couple of games for our VFL side. He's been invited to the National Combine, which generally means, correct me if I'm wrong, you must be invited by 4 or more clubs to participate in the National Combine. I'm wondering if Collingwood are one of those clubs. Maybe we get Rod Ali as potentially a rookie. Maybe I don't know. Maybe does he go through the national draft? I'm not sure. Bobby and Bo must play. They lack the speed, even if they are not 100% fitness. If we win the game, it gives us confidence going ahead. And I'll one up you, Stephen. Even if we don't win, it's not all doom and gloom. But we need to see a turnaround in performance. We need to be right up to the necks of Crows for 4 quarters. Do we know who the 4 clubs are? No, we won't know. I don't think we'll know. No. First or second rounder, Wolfie? You reckon? Interesting. I'm fully focused on the Crows. The job must be done. What have you done this week, Manny, to conspire against the Crows? You're a hop, step, and a skip away from the training ground. What have you done for the Pies, mate? Try and get Jinby from West Coast, and this fixes our issues down back. I don't think Jinby is the answer. He's not much of an intercepting defender. Can he play one-on-one? Yes. I wouldn't be putting all my chips in the Ruben Jinby basket. Good player, tries hard, but we need elite, and I think Jack Silvani is on the precipice of being an elite key defender. Now, I can't agree with this Wade slander. We also have to consider that our players are getting older, and it wasn't questioned before our finals. There's been more on the selections this season, in my opinion. A lot of the selection has come down to management. We'll look back at this and we'll go, okay, well, how much of the S&C plays into this? Like, I'm not a fan of resting Membry when he's had his kid early in the week. Why is he not playing the game? He had his kid on a Monday or Tuesday. Why can't you just play that game? Like that, those sliding doors moments, like we're going to look back at that. We'll look back at Myercheck being managed and Lipinski and whoever else. Like, we might not even get into the finals because we manage these players. And Wade has a big say in that, which is why people will be held accountable if it doesn't pan out. That's a real side to it, guys. I'm not saying Wade is bad at his job. I'm not saying he'll lose his job. I'm not saying it's all his fault. Was told today Treloar might come back to Collingwood. Where'd you get that from, Dom? We've had more changes in Essendon. Really, RJ? Where'd you get that fact? Tasso says nothing gets me more bricked up than Bo McCreary in the middle. Oh, mate. Tell you what. Tell you what, Bo in the middle. It's a spectacle. Is that the right word? It's a spectacle. Benny, I need you to lift, brother. I need you to lift in the chat. Benny, come on. Lift. Bring the energy. Come on. We pretty much got our man in Silvani. His role will be a lot clearer at the buys. 100%. 100%. It's just such a shame. I wish... I can't wait for a number of reasons. Oh, in the last 5 weeks. Okay. Yeah. That's probably an easy one to pick out. Lipinski's been down. Lipinski's another one of those players, guys. Like, he's not going to be the one who stands up when shit's going downhill. He's complementary to the system. When we go well, he goes well. Another one of those players. Another one of those players. So, I would love, like, how cool would it be to have in-season trading, mid-season trading at the very least? I'd love to see that. Guys, do you know when that's going to come along? I don't think there's a stamped date yet where we can trade players mid-season, but that would be great for clubs that have succumbed to injuries, clubs who all of a sudden find themselves in the premiership period in that present time. It just gives a completely new perspective in how seasons can pan out. And what it would do for the YouTube scene. What it would do. I tell you what. You guys are suckers for trades and draft, and so am I. Goodness gracious, would that take everything to a whole new level? You reckon Lipinski managed was his downfall? Benny's lifted. Here we are. Benny's gone wild. He keeps trying to write something and press enter, but he all of a sudden, his finger slips and he donates another 5 gifted members. Ace, Mr. Bear 42, Billy O'Connor, Adam Russo, and Bobby. Welcome. Welcome to the membership. Welcome to the members. Good on you, Benny. They have mid-season trades in the NBA. It's only a matter of time. The AFL adapts. Yeah, I mean, I'm a big fan of the play-ins. How more engaging would it be if there was a play-ins where 6th plays 7th plays 8th or 7th plays 10, 7 plays 8 for automatic or for direct entry into the finals, and loser of 7v8 plays the winner of 9v10. I'm a fan of that. It would keep us engaged. It would keep the lesser clubs engaged who aren't performing so well. Are they going to make a run in the final series? Probably not, but definitely keeps you more locked in. I mean, how boring has this season been for the general AFL fan? The discrepancy between the top half and the bottom half is abysmal. It's disgraceful. Nah, you're right, mate. You don't have to say... Benny, come on. We know you're joking, brother. You don't have to brackets that. It's all good. It's all good. Rick, how you going, mate? Yes. Danny Cassette's son, I am. Yes. Cox is not the answer. He only makes us slower and older and slower. What's the alternative? Dan McStay needs to play in the back line. Do we just play like a 2022, 2023 forward line, or we play 2 talls and the rest smalls? You're getting drunk on Saturday, and I don't really drink anymore. I'll be numb just in case. There you go. The apology was, mate, Benny. You're one ahead of me, mate. That's 4D chess if I've ever seen one. That's a play and a half. I appreciate you too, Stephen. I appreciate you too. Issue Recox. See, and that's the thing. That's the risk. If we bring in Cox, are we going to get the Cox we've seen over the last 12 months? Or are we going to get Mason Cox of the last 5 games in 2024? We're going to get Mason Cox of 2023. That's the risk. But is that a risk you have to take? Or do we just play 2 talls and 4 smalls? Just got to flog these pricks. Bring Rowan Steele in? Maybe. Just go with 2 talls and the rest smalls. I can see that. I can see that. That's fair. Yeah, that Bo one was, I mean, he didn't even say Bo McCreary. The tweet said Bo McQueary. Like, it's obviously a piss take. Thing is, Rick, like, yeah, stats aside, Coxie can be one less player on the field, but he can be 2 players on the field if he performs to the level. DC's been playing pretty well in the back half on the field as well, even without Cox. Maybe what it does is it allows DC to play forward at times, and then Mason Cox can roam in the back half. He's done that at times. Does he do it to the level of DC? Absolutely not. Elliott seems to step up when McStay... There's been a lot of conversation around Jamie Elliott does not perform when the other three talls are in the side. I don't know how real that is. I honestly haven't put too much thought to it. All I know is like Elliott's just another star player who's down on form. And usually when things aren't going well, Jamie Elliott still seems to go okay. He tries hard. He presents well. This is the front lines now, toe-to-toe. Let's go. Darcy Moore is a ruckman. I said this years ago. I think at the very least, like if Darcy Moore can't find form, maybe next year we trial him in preseason as a forward. And we get Jack Silvani in the back line. Jeremy Howe, please come back. Please come back. What's fact? Matthew, what's fact? What'd I miss? McStay crowds Elliott and Milechek all flying for the same ball. Elliott loves the Crows. Will kick a bag. What's his average greatness? Tell us, Shawnee. What's Elliott's average against the Crows? 10 in a row at Adelaide Oval gives us some confidence. We play the ground well. That's going to be a real confidence that we take in. You can't fake that. It's that arrogance. We have to go in with that arrogance, mate. This is our home ground. We haven't lost our last 10 there. We own that bitch. I think Mistay being in fucks up Jamie's running and jumping at the footy, but I think it's a bit overstated. Tussle, I think with Jamie at times, when he presents as the key tall, we kick it to him like a key tall. And although he can get pretty high to the highest point where you meet the ball, I mean, we have to remember he's a small forward. Like he's 5'9", guys? Something like that. Even if he takes the ball at the highest point, the key defender with their reach is always going to make it. Like when Jamie Elliott takes a contested mark on lead, in particular, that's super impressive because not only does he need to take the ball at the highest point, but he has to absorb the contact from his key defender opposition, which makes it even more impressive, which some of you guys probably don't even realize. I'm not taking a stab at you guys, but you guys must realize that for Elliott to take a great mark, it requires a lot of contact that he has to withstand because of his height. Elliott averages 3.8 goals when McStay doesn't play and 1.6 when McStay does play. I mentioned this before. Oh, I remember this. Yes. How many games is this now, though, Matthew, as well? Well, maybe, if McStay plays in that back line, that will be there all to be seen on Saturday. Did we see McStay out of Elliott's way on Thursday for the most part? Yes, but it wasn't planned. So I won't read into that too much. We can look at this Saturday and put that theory to the test. Darcy Moore is Waterboy. Ella Stefanos. Ladies and gentlemen, what a show. We're going to leave it at that. I'll put up a match preview tomorrow morning. We'll do moving the magnets in the evening. Before you leave, drop a like. If you're not subscribed, what are you doing? Until tomorrow, guys, go Pies.